Pay close attention to this footage. It captures the final moments before Samantha Karnick was taken. On February 1, 2012, 18-year-old Samantha Karnick is finishing her shift at the Anchorage, Alaska coffee stand where she works. She repeatedly checks her phone, waiting for a text from her boyfriend. The outside temperature is far below zero, and the area has been deserted for some time. The clock reads 8:15 p.m. On the security camera, a dark shape materializes from across the parking lot, moving directly toward the drive-through window. Samantha is seen speaking with someone before turning to prepare a drink. Initially, the interaction seems routine. She engages with the man as she would with any customer, until suddenly, Samantha stumbles backward, both hands raised in the air. Pure terror is etched on her face. But you need to watch carefully. In the next few minutes, she will accidentally leave behind a clue that threatens to unravel his entire scheme. Complying with the man's commands, she flips off the lights at the front and back of the stand. It's difficult to discern the details inside the dimmed hut, but Samantha appears to take money from the cash register before crouching down to put on her coat. The man then instructs her to turn around before he reaches through the drive-through window to bind her hands behind her back. He then vaults through the window and into the stand. For several agonizing minutes, Samantha is trapped, paralyzed by fear of what comes next. When they finally rise to leave, he forces something into her mouth. At 8:25 p.m., Samantha walks out of the coffee stand with the man following closely beside her. They cross the parking lot, turn right onto Fairbanks Street, and vanish from the camera's view. 18-year-old Samantha Karnick has been kidnapped, and no one has a clue she's gone. But look closer. Inside the coffee stand, a small light is blinking. Samantha has left her phone behind, a detail that will later stun police when her boyfriend receives a text from her number, 3 full hours after her disappearance. The year is 2012 in Anchorage, Alaska. 18-year-old Samantha Karnick is living a happy life with her devoted father, James, who cherishes her above all else. James has had full custody of Samantha since she was 2, doing everything possible to protect her. But she's now a high school senior who enjoys spending time with friends. To make her happy, James even allowed her boyfriend, Dwayne, to move into their home. Samantha and her dad were incredibly close. A friend would later say, "He's a really sweet person, a biker-type fellow." Samantha was his only biological child. She was his entire world. Samantha dreams of becoming a veterinarian. Her father has been helping her prepare, and she's been saving money for her future. She recently started a new job at Common Grounds, and on February 1st, she's working the evening shift alone. Her boyfriend Dwayne is supposed to pick her up after work. It's 8:30 p.m. Dwayne arrives late at the coffee stand to find all the lights off and the place deserted. He calls Samantha's cell phone repeatedly but gets no answer. Because he was late, Dwayne assumes Samantha simply caught a ride with someone else, so he decides to go home and wait for her there. At 11:30 p.m., 3 hours later, Dwayne finally gets a text back from Samantha's number, but the message only deepens his confusion. It reads, ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* I'm going to spend a couple of days with friends. Me time to think plan. Acting weird. Let my dad know. Dwayne is stunned. He can't comprehend what he might have done to provoke such anger. He shows the message to James, who immediately thinks, this doesn't sound like Samantha at all. By 3:00 a.m., Dwayne is too anxious to sleep. He waits on the porch, hoping to see Samantha return, when he spots a shadowy figure rifling through his truck. Dwayne shouts, then runs inside to get James. But by the time they return outside, the figure has disappeared. February 2nd at 12:39 p.m., the Anchorage Police Department receives a frantic 911 call. Samantha. Officer Kevin M. is first to arrive on the scene. I got a call toward the end of my shift about a possible abduction, a barista at a coffee shop, M recalls. I get there and speak with the barista's father and her boyfriend. The father, James, explains. I was concerned when he showed up at 8:15 to pick her up and she wasn't here and... So I'm trying to piece this all together, Officer M continues. I have a father and boyfriend who say a girl didn't come home. You get this strange text, and now someone's rummaging through her truck, but they didn't call the police. That would be the most logical step in my mind. When asked about the truck incident, Dwayne confirms, yes, sir. Officer M probes. At your home? Any reason you didn't report it? Dwayne replies, I just figured she had someone get something out of her truck. Officer M's initial thoughts turn to other possibilities. I'm thinking maybe she's got another boyfriend somewhere and she didn't want to come home. I wasn't sure if this was a genuine abduction, but we still had to investigate it as if it was. When Officer M shifts his focus to the coffee stand, he interviews the barista who opened that morning. It basically looked like someone just walked out mid-shift, the barista noted. Then I started noticing more details. I looked in my register for the starting cash. It was gone. Then I checked our deposit bags. They were all missing too. Several officers were now on scene, searching the stand for evidence. I worked and worked trying to find evidence of any kind inside that coffee hut, said one detective. Not only did I not find anything, there was no sign of a struggle. But everything changes when they obtain the security footage. Detectives cue the tapes to 8:00 p.m., around Samantha's scheduled end time. They immediately see her alone, cleaning and wiping down counters. At 8:15 p.m., the man approaches on foot and walks up to the drive-thru window. Samantha greets him and begins making a coffee. Multiple times, she is seen conversing with him. At one point, she turns towards the window, an officer notes, and she reacts. Samantha recoils, raising her hands in surrender. Detectives are certain the man is pointing a gun at her. She then walks across the coffee stand and turns the lights off. Watching the footage, officers then see her go to the cash register, remove the money, put on her coat, and drop to the floor so he can bind her hands. Detectives have no view of the man's face as he stays out of frame until Samantha shifts away from the window. And he jumped through the window in almost one leap, an investigator describes. He just comes right in. At that point, it almost seems like things calm down. He's in there for a long time before they finally leave. The man stuffs napkins into Samantha's mouth and leads her out. Officers watch them both walk across the parking lot. Rewinding the footage repeatedly, a few critical details raise red flags. Right next to the light switch, there's an alarm. If she was in danger, why didn't she hit it? She had a perfect chance to press the alarm button. She didn't do that. When we studied that video longer, we noticed a light flashing on the counter. The light would come on and then vanish. This was Samantha's phone, illuminating with each call from Dwayne that night. The problem is Dwayne received that text message at 11:30 p.m. from her number. Investigators fast-forward the footage and spot movement at 11:26 p.m. A person returned to the coffee stand. That person was wearing a headlamp. The man came back specifically for Samantha's phone and left. That also lined up with the fact that the first texts from Samantha's phone came at 11:30 p.m. The suspect had sent a deceptive text to Samantha's boyfriend to delay anyone calling the police as long as possible. This new revelation was horrifying. Where was Samantha during his return? Was she tied up in his car, held somewhere else, or had something even worse happened? We told the media, we have a video, and it's apparent from the video that it's a kidnapping. While the police investigation shifts into high gear, Samantha's father, James, spearheads the community effort to find his daughter. In a public appeal, he describes, Samantha was last wearing a pair of furry black boots. An observer noted. It was just so obvious how much her father cared about Samantha and how close they were. James was devastated that his daughter was missing, said a friend. He had no idea where she was or what had happened to her. James himself pleaded, I don't know if my daughter's being fed, taken care of, if she's still alive, if she's getting any sleep. Please help find my daughter. The entire city of Anchorage was now on heightened alert. For it to actually happen so out of the blue. I mean, it's scary, one resident said. Another added, I can't believe this happened here in Anchorage. The Anchorage Police Department requests assistance from the FBI, but they have precious few leads. The first 48 hours or so in any case is critical to develop as many leads as you can, an FBI agent emphasized. By February 4th, Samantha has been missing for 3 days. James Koenig begins collecting money for a reward fund, and donations pour in by the hundreds. There is a $41,000 reward for her safe return, announcements declare. The investigation expands as the FBI retrieves surveillance footage from the Home Depot parking lot across from the coffee stand. You could see a couple walking from the parking lot near a busy restaurant and getting into a vehicle. An agent stated. From there, they acquired tapes from nearby street cameras. While the footage is too grainy to make out a license plate, they now have the suspect's vehicle. So we knew it was a white Chevy pickup truck that the suspect was using. The problem is, there are roughly 700 white Chevy pickup trucks identical to this one in Anchorage alone. Days pass, and while investigators diligently follow every lead, they are no closer to finding Samantha. Days soon turn into weeks. James refuses to wait idly while his daughter is missing, so he takes to social media to publicize Samantha's disappearance. Right now, we're probably getting 2 or 3 tips a day, James said at the time. Whether they're helpful or not, I really can't decide. I don't know what avenue the police are taking in the investigation. The social media campaign drew cruel responses. There were, of course, trolls like there is on any platform. Some people believe she wasn't actually missing. People can be so heartless. James, trying to stay strong, expressed, I gotta keep my spirits up and know that my heart still feels her and she's okay. And an investigator, Slav, recalled, James Kernick pretty much called me daily. Slav, do you have anything new for me? Slav, is there anything we could do? Of course, I had a lot of sympathy for him. I'm a police officer, but I'm also a father. My daughter at the time was working in a coffee stand. If it happened to Samantha, it could happen to anybody. It's February 24th. Samantha has been missing for 23 days. James is at a restaurant meeting with the search party team when Samantha's boyfriend, Dwayne, receives a text. His face turns sheet white. He hurries over to James and shows him the message. It's a text from Samantha's phone, under a picture at Connor Park. Ain't she pretty? James and his family rush to Connor Park, where a community bulletin board stands. Under a photo of a dog named Albert, they find a Ziploc bag. Inside is a folded sheet of paper. It's the first big break in the case since obtaining the video evidence 3 weeks earlier, an officer said. The letter is a ransom note, typed on a typewriter. The note claims Samantha is alive. In the note, he tells us that once he collects $30,000, which could take 6 months to a year, then he will give information, potentially, on where Samantha is. The note includes a debit card number linked to Samantha's bank account for the deposit. Along with the ransom note, there is a photograph of a young woman. She's naked, she's bound, her hair is braided. She's got duct tape over her mouth. The picture is a proof of life, showing a woman next to a newspaper dated February 23rd. I contacted James Kernick to confirm if it was his daughter, the investigator recalled. I knew it would be heartbreaking for him to see that photo. It was just me and James in the interview room, and I put the photo in front of him. He stared at it for a long time, and then he said, yes, it is Samantha in the photo. Upon learning of the ransom demand, James immediately instructs Sergeant Markovich to use money from the reward fund. That same day, $5,000 is deposited into the account. We had a trace on the card so that if it was used, we would be notified. However, there was a 10-minute delay in the alert, and 10 minutes in Anchorage at midnight. You can drive right out of town. With about 500 ATM machines in Anchorage, monitoring every single one was impossible. That night, the FBI gets a signal that Samantha's card has been used. Our officers rush to the scene, but the suspect was gone. What they do obtain is surveillance footage from the ATM. The suspect is wearing a mask, hiding all facial features. He has his hood up, wears goggles, and a big puffy jacket with the words Marine Corps on the back. But the most crucial detail is the Nissan SUV the man is seen driving away in. This only confuses investigators further. Because the suspect could only withdraw the $500 daily limit, authorities expect him to make another withdrawal. The FBI calls for backup, sending agents to every publicly accessible ATM in Anchorage. But the next card use is on March 7th in Willcox, Arizona, over 4,000 miles away. The FBI contacts Arizona authorities, but due to the 10-minute delay, the suspect is already gone. The ATM footage shows the same disguised man, but the car he's driving is now a white Ford Focus. That ATM withdrawal happens on March 7th. There's another one that same day in Lordsburg, New Mexico, an agent detailed. On March 10th, there's a withdrawal made in Humble, Texas. And then the next day, there's another withdrawal in Shepherd, Texas. During this whole time, we're asking ourselves, is Samantha with this individual? Is she in the vehicle? The FBI contacts the Texas Rangers and agents issue an alert to be on the lookout for a white Ford Focus. I get in my patrol car and start patrolling, recalled State Trooper Brian Henry. I look to my right and the first thing I see is a white Ford Focus. So I called the Ranger. The command was immediate. We dropped everything we were doing and told Brian, do not lose that car, while FBI agents raced to the scene. Trooper Brian Henry follows the white Ford Focus from a discreet distance. We needed probable cause to stop him. So I try to get in position to catch him speeding or find another traffic violation. The trooper explained. The white Ford Focus was 2 vehicles ahead of me. It accelerated rapidly. So I said, well, hang on. He might be speeding. I checked him with radar. He was doing 58 in a 55. Trooper Henry activates his lights. The car pulls into a local restaurant parking lot. As I walked up, I realized we might be dealing with a kidnapping suspect, Henry said. Approaching the vehicle, he glances into the back seat, hoping to find Samantha, but the driver is alone. Still, he knows she could be in the trunk. I kind of paused and looked through the window to see his hands, he recalled. From the driver's license, he learns the man's name, Israel Keys. The Texas Rangers and FBI agents quickly converge on the site and take control. The agents are running out of options. If Samantha is in the trunk, they need to open it immediately. When they pop the trunk, Samantha Koenig is not there. But what they find directly links Israel Keys to her kidnapping. A gray hoodie, a mask, gloves, and goggles, the same disguise seen in the ATM videos. Inside the pockets, they discover Samantha's phone and her debit card. Investigators back in Alaska take the name Israel Keys and execute a search warrant on his home. I sent our officers to Keys' residence immediately to see if Samantha was being held inside, a sergeant stated. Arriving at the house, the first things they notice are a white Chevy pickup truck and a silver Nissan Stera SUV. The Special Assignment Unit officers made entry into the home. We searched thoroughly, but Samantha wasn't there. After scouring every square inch of the property, they find no evidence Samantha was ever inside. There was a shed separated from the house, an agent noted. The entire shed was loaded onto a flatbed and taken to the FBI building in Anchorage for processing. When the FBI digs into Israel Keys' life, they learn he has a girlfriend and a 10-year-old daughter. He owns a construction company and has no prior criminal record. Outwardly, no one could suspect he was capable of such a crime. News reports confirmed. The U.S. Marshals notified the court today that Israel Keys is in custody in the District of Alaska. The FBI hopes to get Keys talking, only he knows Samantha's location. But after being extradited to Alaska, Keys learns from his lawyer that computers from his house were seized. So he makes a startling move. The interrogation recording begins. It's 15:48 by my watch. It's March 30th. An agent asks, "Do you understand your rights?" Keys replies, "Yes. And you're willing to waive those rights to talk to us?" "Yes," investigators believe. He figured that, with his computer in our possession, we'd find major pieces of evidence. An agent gently probes, "I think everybody really wants to know where Samantha is. Is that an okay place to start?" Keys agrees, "Yeah, we can pull up a map there of the Palmer area." Okay, Keys directs them to an area north of Anchorage toward the Matanuska Valley. Pointing to a spot on the lake, he says, "Right there." An agent asks, "And what should they look for specifically?" "Ice fishing spot." "Was it a hole that you cut, or was the hole there?" "No, it was a hole I cut. You'll see it. You'll see where the hole was, probably." Israel Keys confirms that is where they would find Samantha Koenig. The agent asks directly, "So you killed her?" Keys answers, "Yes. We knew then that Samantha Koenig was dead. We knew there was no more hope," an investigator said somberly. News broke. Earlier today, a forensic dive team discovered in Matanuska Lake what investigators believe to be the body of Samantha Koenig. A lot of people right now are just heartbroken. Everyone was rooting for her until the very end. We just couldn't believe it. We feel for the family. It's absolutely devastating. Samantha's father, James, is at home surrounded by loved ones when he receives the news. The room falls into a shattered silence. James's worst fear has been realized. At her memorial, a speaker began, "I'd like to welcome you today to Samantha Koenig's celebration of life." A friend expressed, James was devastated knowing she wasn't coming back. He would never have grandchildren. He could never hug his daughter again because of this monster. In his interrogation, Keys reveals what happened to Samantha. An agent asks, "When did you first meet Samantha Koenig?" Keys coldly replies, "Never met her. Never even seen her before." "So why did you go to the Common Grounds coffee shop that night?" "Because they were open late." Keys details the abduction. "I had my police scanner on me, in my ear." He claims he warned her not to trigger the alarm, or he would know and kill her. "I told her we were going for a little walk. We were only about 100, maybe 200 feet from the stand. And she tried to get away. I tackled her. After that, she knew I was serious. She didn't give me more problems. She kept trying to talk to me, and I had to tell her to shut up a few times. 'Cause she was, trying to make friends and stuff." A behavioral analyst later noted, "She's doing what she should." She's trying to personalize herself to him to do what she needed to survive. While driving around Anchorage, Keyes asks Samantha for her phone. When she says it's at the hut, he turns back. She tries to warn him about an alarm on the door, but he doesn't believe her. He needed the phone to send that text to her boyfriend, which would buy him time before police were notified, an agent explained. Then Keyes drives her to his house and leads her into the shed. At the time, his girlfriend was in the home, still awake. His daughter was also at home asleep. Keyes shows no hesitation about keeping Samantha captive just feet from where his 10-year-old daughter sleeps. After tying her to a wall and turning up loud music, he demands her ATM card. That's when he learns she left it in her boyfriend's truck. That is when he leaves Samantha and goes back to her residence, searches Dwayne's truck, and finds the debit card. The agent said, "It is now at least 3:30 in the morning." Israel returns to the house, and he is now going to fulfill his plan. That same night, Israel Keyes sexually assaults Samantha and murders her. The next morning, Israel resumes his normal life, waking his daughter and packing for a family trip to New Orleans, where they will stay for weeks all while Samantha's body remains in the shed. Most disturbingly, after returning from his trip, he sets the next phase of his plan in motion. Extort ransom money by pretending Samantha is still alive. He bought an old Polaroid camera at a thrift store. He applied makeup to her body, an investigator recounted. He took a Polaroid of her with a recent newspaper beside her. An officer summarized, "You've got your monster." In truth, Samantha was dead before police were even notified she was missing. The full details of his daughter's fate are not shared with James Koenig, yet he becomes convinced Keyes was not a first-time killer. He creates a Facebook page to compile a timeline of Keyes' whereabouts from 2004 to 2012. He titles it, "Have You Ever Met Israel Keyes? Possible Serial Killer." James seeks closure for other families who may have suffered losses. But when tips flood in, the FBI is inundated with reports linked to missing persons cases nationwide and decides to question Israel Keyes directly. "Are there any other people that you're responsible for the death of?" an agent asks. Keyes replies ominously, "I have lots more stories to tell if you're interested." He says he's willing to talk, but only on his own terms. He knows he holds the power. "There are certain aspects of the things that I've done that I would prefer never became public." Investigators believe the reason Keyes wants secrecy is to protect his daughter from the truth. Yet this doesn't stop him from reveling in the attention. "I think he liked to just sit there and perhaps get some sense of delight by telling these horrific stories so casually, knowing he was shocking the investigators," one analyst observed. As it turns out, James Koenig was right. Israel Keyes is a serial killer who has been operating for many years. He explains his meticulous planning and how he evaded detection. He would bury these kill kits in various areas and then travel back to those locations to commit his crimes, an agent described. The kits contained rope, gloves, tape, zip ties. Some of them had a gun. Keyes is talking, but investigators struggle to get the names of his other victims. They spend days questioning him for hours on end, acceding to his demands. Until a TV news channel makes a fateful announcement. A Channel 3 news investigation over the last several months has led us to the identity of the man accused of killing the couriers. Keyes discovers his name has been made public and immediately clams up. "I have no reason to tell you more information," he declares. On May 23, 2012, Israel Keyes is scheduled for a court hearing. Reporters from every major network are present, though no cameras are allowed inside. James Koenig and his family are there in the gallery. "I expected it to be super quick, literally 1 or 2 word answers," a spectator said. It turned into something else. During the proceeding, as the judge speaks, chaos erupts. "Get him! Get him!" Keyes bolts from his seat, vaulting over the railing that separates him from the gallery. A U.S. Marshal grabs him at the last second, throwing him to the ground while another deploys a taser. Shouts are heard, "Kill him!" Followed by, "No, do not kill him." A reporter stated, without making a sound, Keyes jumped the railing, where family and friends of Samantha Koenig were seated. James Koenig declined to comment outside the courtroom. The next day, an agent interviewed Keyes again. "What's changed since yesterday?" Keyes deadpanned, "More handcuffs." By November 29th, investigators have only 2 confirmed victim names besides Samantha, and Keyes refuses further cooperation. After 40 hours of questioning over 8 months, Israel Keyes shuts down completely. 3 days later, a prison guard conducting a routine cell check stumbles upon a grim scene. News reports confirm federal inmate Israel Keys was found dead in his jail cell. Many people were glad he was dead. They thought that's what he deserved. But he took a lot of information with him, an agent reflected. Investigators believe Keys killed at least 11 people, but they only have 3 confirmed names: Bill Carrier, Lorraine Carrier, and Samantha Koenig. However, Special Agent Cott Nelson is convinced more cases will be solved and continues working so victims' families can finally find peace. "It won't be easy by any means, and it may take a long time, but I'll never give up trying," she vowed. As for James Koenig, Samantha's father, his relentless efforts were instrumental in catching a serial killer and ending his reign of terror. Since his daughter's death in 2012, he has founded an organization dedicated to helping others find missing family members. It assists in conducting searches, offering support and guidance. The program is called Seeking Alaska's Missing, or SAM for short. Family and friends also work to pass legislation aimed at improving workplace safety across Alaska, ensuring what happened to Samantha never recurs. They have named it the Samantha Koenig Safety Act. As of today, they continue advocating for this bill and seek public support. While James has lost his only daughter, she will forever remain in his heart. Through his tireless work, he ensures that Samantha's memory endures.